The best shooting guard in the NBA takes on Anthony Edwards tonight. Psychos and sickos unite for an NBA Cup edition of the PHNX Suns pregame show. Of course, brought to you by our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. I'm Erik. That's Espo. He's got a much bigger tablet this time around. You miss a show and
what she said.
Things change around here. We got the Freckle Mamba, as always, behind the Mac, making all the magic happen. Of course, Steven is at the morgue as the Phoenix Suns get ready to host Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves for round 2 of NBA Cup action, the first matchup between these two teams this season. So as we dive into it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member today. I'm going to be honest, though, I'm really thrown off. I hate how YouTube went back to the @s instead of the usernames. I hate it.
I don't know. I don't know why that keeps happening, but, we'll assume that's Andy, Jeff, Wow. I think we can decode it.
I can't figure it out.
I'm excited, though, because we've got 2 teams, 1 cup, and I'm excited for it.
Anyways, let's just get right into the injury report presented by the husband and wife law team. If you've had a serious injury, like my ears after what Espo just said, call the husband and wife law team first at 602-783-8841 or visit their website at husbandandwifelawteam.com. Of course, Jalen Green is continuing to be out for the Phoenix Suns. Grayson Allen still missing another game with a right quad contusion. And the latest addition to the injury report is Rasheer Fleming. Before we get into the Timberwolves side of things, this is what head coach Jordan Ott had to say about Rasheer, who was added to the injury report after getting his first real rotation minutes on Tuesday.
Just a minor ankle. He did roll it late in the game. It was about 2.5, 3 minutes left. I think he actually turned it over and came back, jumped in the air. I'm not even sure if he hit anyone, just rolled his left ankle. But yeah, he got his opportunity, and now that this is life. And it's not long-term, so he'll be back soon.
This is life, Espo. Wise words from the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, but doesn't look like a major thing for Rasheer.
No, and it sounds simple. I'm guessing he'll be back on Sunday, and the way that Ott reacted, I assume that he'll also get another shot at playing in that lineup and getting some minutes, because it kind of does suck. I know it was, that's life, and that's kind of the mentality the Suns have taken, but it does suck for Rasheer Fleming, who finally got minutes in the first half of a game and then rolls his ankle in garbage time.
Yeah, beyond Rasheer, though, for tonight, I'm still looking at missing Grayson Allen. Now, of course, at practice during the week, head coach Jordan Ott said he was progressing in the right direction, participated in practice, but still listed as out for this game. Obviously, you list it as a contusion. It's just a bruise, but we know that these things can linger. At what point, Espo, do you start to maybe worry a little bit about the status of Grayson Allen and if he's going to come back soon or not?
If he's out through Monday. I mean, he said he was progressing. He practiced yesterday. Mm-hmm. I understand maybe didn't respond as well as they wanted going into today. Granted, they had said he was out yesterday as of last evening. So my guess is they're aiming towards Sunday, maybe Monday for him to come back. If we go longer than that, I'll probably have some questions.
Well, obviously, in lieu of Grayson Allen starting, the Suns starting 5 is remaining the same. Devin Booker, Dillon Brooks, Ryan Dunn, Royce O'Neal, and Mark Williams for the Suns. Besides Devin Booker, who's the most important out of the other 4 starters tonight?
Dillon.
And why?
Dillon has to go out there, and he's going to have the toughest defensive assignment. He's likely going to be on Ant. And then you need him to still be a factor offensively as well. So I think he is the biggest key tonight because you need him on both ends. Now, Mark Williams is probably a close second. He's going up against Rudy Gobert. can you battle on the boards? Can you especially limit the Wolves on the offensive boards, because they are a very good offensive rebounding team. The Suns are not that great at preventing opponents from getting offensive rebounds. So that's going to be a key tonight for me as well.
So for the Wolves, they'll be starting Dante DiVincenzo at the 1, Anthony Edwards at the 2, Jaden McDaniels, who is available. He is healthy and ready to go for today at the 3, Julius Randle at the 4, Rudy Gobert at the 5. You know, I like your 2 answers, obviously, but I look at the other 2 as well, and Ryan Dunn and Royce O'Neal, and I look at defensive matchups. Who's guarding Julius Randle? Because Julius Randle is notoriously a Suns killer. If you look back to the beginning of last season, obviously he pushed off on Josh Okogie, and it was an offensive foul, but he pushed off, hit a game winner. He's the type of matchup that does present an interesting dynamic for the Suns defensively. I wonder if Dillon Brooks, since he's better at guarding bigger, is on Randle. You put Ryan Dunn as a perimeter defender on Anthony Edwards.
I think you're going to wind up having both those guys guard each of those guys throughout this game. I don't think it's going to be a 1-for-1 necessarily. You might, obviously the Wolves are going to try to get you in switches too. So how do the Suns handle that? My guess is one of those 2 guys will wind up with either of those assignments, but I want Dillon Brooks guarding Anthony Edwards, because I get it. Both Edwards and Julius Randle are averaging 25 points a game, but I'm more afraid of Ant going off and taking over a game than I am Julius Randle.
Look, Dunn and Williams, as far as a defensive duo, is very important. Coach Jordan Ott talked about their pick and roll defense, and it's important specifically tonight, earlier today.
We're going to continue to say be up. Be up. The pickup point with Ryan on the basketball. Be up and aggressive as you can be without fouling. And then Mark, we know Mark can sit in the paint all night and protect the rim, but we're going to challenge you to be up. We want to force turnovers. It starts by being up at the level. That is going to be a big one tonight, because if you let Anthony Edwards get downhill into anyone's chest, into the paint, that's a big challenge for us tonight. Once he gets in the paint, not only can he finish, he gets to the free throw line, but we're going to ask our bigs to be up and be aggressive.
And I think that him saying that, to me, gives a little hint as it might be Ryan Dunn out there on Ant to start the game, but maybe if Ant does get cooking or it's a tough matchup, he'll throw Brooks. But you're right, when you have an all-time talent, I guess currently in the NBA, and Anthony Edwards, who is one of maybe 2 other players who is in contention for best shooting guard, you're going to need to throw multiple bodies at him.
Well, look, and if your bigs are up for more than 48 minutes, consult your physician, I think, is the other thing we got to remember on a Friday night. But that's part of their defense. They want their big men to be aggressive. They want these deflections. They know that getting out in transition is going to be important, because when you look at the fast break points, it's in favor of the Suns, in favor of the T-Wolves tonight. So they know that getting deflections and scoring off those turnovers is going to be key for them, because they rank 8th in the NBA in doing that, getting a little over 21 points a game, and you need your bigs to be able to deflect balls so you can get that opportunity, create those turnovers. And free throws are going to be a huge problem tonight too, because the Suns have not been overly effective at getting in the line, and Minnesota is extremely good, in particular with Ant, like Coach Ott said.
Well, and on the reverse end of that, the Suns are very good at fouling opponents and
true.
Also giving them weak fouls. So if you could stay out of foul trouble tonight, I think specifically when you look at Ryan Dunn and Dillon Brooks, for that matter, as 2 guys that do rack up a lot of fouls, if one of them does get into foul trouble against this team specifically, I know that we want to focus on Ant. But you look at Julius Randle, and he has the ability to take over a game and to win you games. Hell, he was doing it in the playoffs for the Timberwolves this past season. Obviously, offensively, you're not too worried about Rudy Gobert, especially if you stick Mark Williams on him. Dante DiVincenzo can catch fire from 3, and Jaden McDaniels offensively, he's very up and down. So it's Ant and it's Julius Randle on the defensive end that you need to make sure that you have the guys on the court that do not foul out in order to match up with them, because if either one of them gets hot, the rest of the team just starts to click.
Well, and these are 2 teams that shoot from deep really well. It's the 5th and 6th best team in the league with Minnesota and the Suns. So it's more than Dante DiVincenzo that can hit also. This is a dangerous team offensively overall, but I think you've got to get out and you've got to push the pace.
Yeah.
Because Rudy Gobert isn't going to handle that long-term. Julius Randle isn't. That's going to be a way that you can have a differentiator. And when you go smaller, you've got to make sure that you are still making those passes and finding not just the good shot, but the better shot and then the best shot, which this team has been extremely good at all year in doing that. So it's going to be, again, the little things on the margin that I think will make the difference.
Yeah, Wow Factor says, Eric, you forgot about Naz Reid. Naz Reid is a problem. Naz Reid not starting, but I do want to talk about him. Quite possibly the best player off the bench in the NBA. He has already won a Sixth Man of the Year. He presents another unique challenge to this team because of his size and his versatility. Again, when Naz Reid is on the court, whether it's instead of Rudy Gobert, okay, well, now you have a stretch five. It's instead of Julius Randle, well, now you have a more athletic four next to a five in Gobert. Naz Reid is the type of player that the Suns don't necessarily have a great matchup for. I am assuming you're going to stick Mark Williams on him, but in the non-Mark Williams minutes, I don't love Nick Richards on him. I don't love Oso on him. Dillon Brooks is probably your best option. There is a chance that Naz Reid catches fire, and the Suns, when it comes to three-point shooting bigs, haven't faced a ton of them this year, so I'm interested to see how that change of pace can be for a guy like Naz.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good matchup in general for the Suns in terms of what Minnesota's strengths are and where the Suns' defensive strengths are. I think this is going to be difficult, but on the other side, I think the same can be said for Minnesota and the Suns' strengths. So trying to figure out Naz Reid is going to be tough, especially with second unit guys. How are you going to approach that? Is Jordan Goodwin, because Steven sat there the context yesterday and kind of laid it out how Jordan Goodwin has been surprisingly good in boxing out bigs and getting in bigs grills when they're playing defensively and when he has to go up against them. So are you going to get creative on that front in terms of how do you use Jordan Goodwin to kind of match up against him? And Ott has been really good at finding creative ways to play defensively. There's a lot on a lot of different things that the Suns can try tonight, but there is no perfect answer for what the Wolves bring.
No, but the Suns have shown over and over again that they can play games on their own terms. Look, is there a great matchup for Wemby? No, but the Suns found a way, a defensive shell, and were able to contain him. Look, when it comes to tonight, the Timberwolves are certainly the best team the Suns have faced. I guess if you want to include Atlanta, but maybe not. The best team the Suns have faced since they lost to Golden State a couple of weeks ago. Since then, it's Denver in the third game of the season. This is one of the harder opponents you've played, but I still feel confident about the Suns tonight.
Okay. Minnesota, the 10 games that they've won are all against under 500 teams.
Yeah.
Right? They have not played a tougher schedule than the Suns, and they have not beat a team better than the Suns have beat when the Suns beat the Spurs. So the narrative around Minnesota is distinctly different than it is around the Suns. So Minnesota's taking care of business because the expectations are for Minnesota to be good. The Suns do it, and everybody's like, well, the Suns are playing weak opponents, yada. No. Yeah. Knock that crap off. Right now, tonight's the night that proves which one of these teams is better than the other, which one has played better than the other. And it's simple, I get it, but tonight is a litmus test for the Phoenix Suns. Beat Minnesota is going to be tough for people to come out and continue that narrative, because you now have beaten a good team, and it kind of shines a light on maybe Minnesota isn't as good as everybody thinks because they've only beaten the bottom dwellers of the league as well.
Sure, these teams are pretty damn even when it comes to just about everything on the surface level. Minnesota 10-5, they're the 6th seed in the Western Conference. Phoenix Suns are 9-6, just a game behind Minnesota. So you win today, you move up to the 6th seed. I know it's early, but just to provide context as far as how many points each team scores, Minnesota scores 120.6 points per game. The Suns have 119.3. They both allow the same points per game,
which is insane to me. It's down to the decimal point. It's 114.1.
They've allowed the same. The Timberwolves have a slightly better differential, +6.5 to the Suns, +5.2. Both teams are 8-2 in their last 10 as well. The only big difference here between Minnesota and Phoenix, that Minnesota has been a very good road team. Minnesota 5-2 on the road so far this season. The Suns 6-2 at home. So this will be a good matchup. Plus, we know Anthony Edwards always gets up for these games. But I know you mentioned, I think Voida brought this up. Does he get up for him because it's KD or because it's Book? Or will we find out it's just Anthony Edwards is always Anthony Edwards?
Yeah, and I think that will be interesting. I think it's Anthony Edwards is always Anthony Edwards. I doubt that it was just because Kevin Durant was out there. But you brought up the fact that this is Book and Ant, two of the best shooting guards, and there's probably each of them wanting to show the other one that they're the better two guards. Yeah. So I think that is I think that was an interesting thing that you brought up as well. But you bring up their road record again. It's
bad teams, but you still win.
And the Suns,
we're going to give the Suns credit for beating teams.
I know, but the Suns' road record has been against a lot of more difficult opponents.
Denver, Golden State. Yeah. Other than that, you lost to the Clippers.
Yeah, which, okay. Then that was, second game?
Second game when everybody thought the Clippers were going to be good.
So, and you were still kind of figuring out who you were at that point.
Yeah. So. Look, I'm not trying to diminish Minnesota's win, but you're right that they're looked at in different lights. I want to get to a super chat here real quick from AIA Edits. Thank you so much. $4.99 super chat says, I'm back. Welcome back. Finally moved to a new house. Looking forward to watching y'all streams again. What do y'all think the odds are for the Suns to win tonight?
My odds?
Yeah, you're right. Give us your odds. We'll get to Bet365 odds later.
I think it's 55-45 in favor of Minnesota tonight, just because the Suns are not at full strength. Minnesota has mostly their full complement roster-wise. So I'm going to lean that Minnesota probably has the better chance, but I think the Suns are going to win because they're at home.
51-49. And apparently Sean says this is the dude that lost his home in the LA fires. Well, sorry for not recognizing you because the ats changed. I think I would have remembered your actual name on YouTube, but absolutely welcome you back.
Great
Hope everything's been going good for you since the last time we talked, and hopefully, we can entertain you just like we did before. By the way, we've got a watch along for this game. For all of you who didn't know this, on this very channel, we'll be watching this NBA Cup game live. Oh, yeah, we do.
Oh,
you're involved. Right here, different stream. You can check that out right afterwards. We'll get to our official predictions.
Streams.
No cross streams. No cross streams. We will get to our score predictions here in a second. But first, let's take a look at Steven's keys to the game because we want the Suns to win. Key number 1 for Steven is set the tone early, something that they were able to do against Portland early, especially defensively. If you can come out and do it against a better team at home, that would go a long way. Key number 2 is pressure and rolling coverages versus Anthony Edwards, like we mentioned at the beginning. They're going to throw a lot of bodies at him, and they're going to throw a lot of attention and pressure at him. And then number 3, it's poke at Gobert and Randle and pick and roll coverages. Espo, out of those 3 keys, which one do you think is the most important?
I think key 3 is probably the one that is going to help you the most because, do you shut down Anthony Edwards? That's probably not likely. You can slow him down. You can frustrate him. But if you can keep Gobert and Randle in check, or at least working for what they're going to get on the offensive end, that will go a very long way to helping you be able to win this game. Plus, you're going to have to get creative with both of those guys because, as we talked about, you probably don't have the perfect defensive matchup with anybody on your roster. So you're going to have to get creative, and I think making sure you're not letting them get easy buckets on the pick and roll is a good start with that.
Yeah, I think the strong start, just because this team has proven when they get a game on their terms, they're usually able to control it. You go back to that good win against San Antonio a couple of weeks ago at this point, and it was off the bat. They got the game on their terms. They got Wemby uncomfortable, and the Spurs could never recover. I think if you're able to not allow them to get into a good rhythm, that's going to go a long way. But do they need to win this game? Is this a Suns must win? Let's take a look at the SMW meter. Espo, you're the lowest tonight. I'm at a 9. Steven at a 7.5, which is pretty high. Espo, you're at a 6.25, averaging out to a 7.6. Why so low, Espo?
Because I don't give a crap about the cup.
Wow.
I just don't give a crap about the cup. I
mean, you're disrespecting the cup.
I want a win against the Spurs on Sunday, because if you wind up close to the Spurs in the standing, which you might if they continue to have injuries, you want that tiebreaker. And then Monday is a 14 on the Suns must-win meter. Yeah. So this is my least of the next 3 in terms of must-win.
See, here's the thing. One, another team, like we were talking about Portland, that the Suns are close at, near the standings. So every time that you can get even some edge on a tiebreaker, you're going to want that. Number 2, I fucking hate Anthony Edwards. And I want Anthony Edwards to lose, and I want Devin Booker to prove that he's the better shooting guard tonight. Number 3, I hate the Timberwolves. I hate what they've done to us. And number 4, I care about the NBA Cup.
Why?
Because it's fun.
Why?
Because it's fun.
I mean, I enjoy watching it. I want the Suns to, but it's not a must-win, because guess what? If you win the NBA Cup, you get nothing except having to play an extra game and a dumb banner that you might hang up.
Extra post-game show, extra numbies.
Oh, I mean,
extra attention. I mean, hey.
Well,
come on.
Yeah.
The rookies get money.
You know what?
Do it for sheer fun, damn it.
No, you know what that means is we just have to work an extra night. That's what that means, right? That's what it means. I don't get a bonus. I don't get a trophy. I don't get a banner.
So
what do you want, Freckle Mamba?
I think Espo just doesn't want Kobe Bryant to get paid.
Wow.
Does Kobe get paid because he'll
not if you had anything to do with it. I know you'll be making some calls.
Hey,
they want to get the check.
They want to share. They want to share some of that extra scratch they get. I'm willing to listen. So.
Oh, we got a super chat from Lonnie. Thank you so much, Lonnie. 199 says Suns will win 115 to 108. We will get to our score predictions here in a second, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the line presented by Bet365. The Suns are underdogs at home, where they have won 6 out of 8 matchups. They're plus 4.5 on the spread, plus 155 on the money line. Minnesota minus 4.5 on the spread, minus 185 on the money line. Are you surprised by this line, Espo?
Not at all. The perception is Minnesota's the better team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the perception. Now, the reality, I don't think that's the case right now, but that's the perception. So yeah, I agree with the Freckle Mamba. That's some free money.
Free money? Well, are you taking that for your Bet365 picks? Let's get into them.
It's not.
For our pre-game picks, presented by Bet365. Sign up, use code PHNX365, deposit 10, place a bet for 5, get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit PromGambling.az.gov.
Let me say one thing. If they don't win the cup, I will take that money I would have made for one extra post-game show and split it amongst the rookies.
Wow. That's our change.
Actually, you know what? I will give it straight to Kobe Bryant. Wow. Kobe can have it all.
That'd be really funny to get. You have like the big ass check, and it's like $15. Yeah. Here you go, Kobe.
I feel for them, but I don't want to work the extra night. So.
Okay. Well, maybe, Espo, if you hit it big tonight, you don't have to work at all. What's your pregame picks for today?
Yeah, I'm going Devin Booker plus 35 points.
Okay.
Rudy Gobert plus 10 rebounds. And Mark Williams plus 10 rebounds. We're getting weird tonight.
I like it though. I like it. I don't know if it's weird. I think they're just high numbers.
Plus, I get a 50% profit boost. As well. So
you get the 50% profit boost. So does your boy. Yeah. Everybody gets a 50% profit boost with Bet365.
Damn it! I'm not special.
Game. No, everybody's special with Bet365. I got both Book and Anthony Edwards to score 25 plus points each, and I got Naz Reid at plus 15 points at a boosted plus 495. And part of the reason why I'm going a little more conservative here is when we look at our standings, Espo, I'm getting a lot closer.
You're about to join me in the red.
I've seen a lot of green so far this season. I've hit a couple of bets, but it's been a rough streak for me recently. Only
have you hit a couple, or have you just hit the one?
No, I've hit a couple.
Okay.
I think I hit like 2 or 3 at the beginning of the season. I hit like 5 or 6.
It's 2 Freckle Mamba?
At the beginning of the season.
Yeah, don't let him lie. Hold him accountable.
6 or 7 at the beginning of the season.
You hit 2.
Isaiah in the chat, who is one of our more prolific gamblers, says $100 Suns money line.
Okay.
I don't hate it.
It was not going to move enough of the needle in our competition. And I should probably start taking smaller swings, but that ain't the way your boy does it.
Apparently, we're still too boring because we're not doing 15-leg parlays like Steven last year.
Wow.
We should still make.
I'm gonna call my boy Flex. He's just gonna start making those.
I don't know if
those
it's a good
15
idea.
game. No, they're not gonna hit. But
Because I'm gonna say he might have gotten the lowest that anybody's ever gotten in PHNX history.
I don't have that kind of time to put together a 15-leg parlay.
I still remember the best bet I hit last year was I predicted Bull's career high. I had him at 25 plus points, and he had 26. He had never hit 25 in his career before, and that is what ended up winning me the Bet365 competition last year.
Yeah, well, guess what? You and I have as many wins in the competition as each other. So.
And mine's more recent, so some would say it matters more.
Well, some would be lying to you.
Well, some always tells me the truth. Espo, speak your truth. Your final thoughts on Suns-Wolves, the most important game, an NBA Cup game, at home tonight at the Morgue.
My first thought is Sum's an asshole, if that's what they're telling you. But no, look, go out there, take care of business on the boards, and play solid defense. That's going to be your way to win tonight, right? That is what it's going to take. And if you let them get second chance points, you let them get to the free throw line, you're going to be in for a world of hurt tonight.
Yeah, I need Devin Booker to be the best player on the basketball court tonight. Plain and simple. I think the Suns have,
I said done. Anthony Edwards doesn't make his teammates better.
Well, look, and that's the thing is, Book doesn't need to go nuclear for that to happen. We saw it against Portland. He only had to score 19 points for a convincing road victory. Obviously, this team is better, but you are back home. The Suns have proven everybody can do it. We haven't talked about Collin Gillespie. He has been incredible. He's coming off of another awesome game. If Royce can start off hitting threes, that would be big this game as well.
This week he's averaging 17.5 points, Collin is, 6.5 assists, like 4 rebounds. He's been unbelievable this week, and I hope he continues it tonight. On both ends of the floor, he's been really good.
Yeah, if Oso can give us a good game, maybe match up okay with Naz Reid, even though he's a little smaller, but match some energy off the bench for bigs. I think the Suns have the horses to win tonight. Obviously, a win is pretty big in the standings, but I think they can get it done.
Yeah, I think Antel Claus looks like a ho-ho-ho tonight, and the Suns get a big victory.
Oh, man.
Did we show who we're picking?
Yeah, I think so.
Did we show that already?
No, we haven't shown.
We haven't shown the score, right?
Yeah. No, we haven't.
Okay.
We've just given our score kind of prediction matchup predictors. Let's see what we've got for the game tonight. Look, we're all rolling with the Suns, okay? Steven, 120 to 114. I'm going 112, 111.
How did you not have 114 in your score since they both give up 114?
You know what? That's a great point. That's a fantastic point. Espo, you do have 114, but the Suns winning.
116, 114 is what I have. And the Suns 3-0 in the statement edition, which we're getting tonight on the Cup court.
Do you see the book twos?
Yeah, the book twos look good on
the
it.
Court. Oh, with that jersey.
By the way, Freckle Mamba, I got a problem with you. Did you put an NBA Cup emoji in there? Why are you putting that disgrace of a trophy in there for the chat?
It just means more.
All right.
It does mean more.
Fine.
It's better than him putting a great jersey emoji.
I want that for post-game, please.
Yeah, be on the lookout.
Yeah, all right.
By the way, the only good part about them changing from the names to the ats is you get to see who's got game in 2 different ways with the username and with the ats. And Boom Shakalaka might have the best combo because it's Boom Shakalaka and then at Beer is Good 45.
Yeah, that is
Come
quality. And still has the NBA Jam logo there. Johnny, you were wrong. It says home team should be the second score. What's wrong with you people? No, it should never be the second score. The highest score always goes first. That's the way it should be. I hate when people do it the other way.
Well, on that note, come argue about which direction you put your scores in, and come watch Suns Timberwolves with the PHNX Suns crew, and then, of course, come back for a post-game show right here on this channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on your way out, become a member, and we'll see y'all in a couple of minutes.
We all silly like the mayor.